Hi, it's Jim Jordan with Create Vibrant Health, speaking to you from Ashland, Oregon, back in my hometown, October 31st, 2021. It's Halloween. So, it is a Halloween that's different than other Halloweens, obviously. This is in the middle of our slide into tyranny. And I have a little update. Um, Actually, I want to tell you a little story. I sent out a video, a satirical video that was really hilarious and sad at the same time, of a guy who's like really in a scraggly beard, like he's huffing and puffing and saying, I'm walking from Brooklyn, New York to Rio Grande, Texas, and then I'm going to cross the border into Mexico and come back in as an illegal alien. And that way I can get my unemployment and I can at least have the freedom to get vaccinated or not as an illegal alien. Showing, so this is how ridiculous the policies of the current fake administration in Washington is. That says it all. What else can I say other than that's true? He would get unemployment and he would not have to get vaccinated. He would have freedom to choose. Whereas he's an American, he can't. So that's funny and sad. And that's kind of the feeling I have often these days, a little sadness. But at the same time, there's hope. There's big hope. There's some big thing coming up in November 8th through 11th, a nationwide strike where we're going to try to shut down, all the people that realize what's going on are going to shut down all the services, trucking, trains, everything. Um, just walk out. If you work for a company that is demanding a vaccine, you just walk out. This goes for people that are unvaccinated and vaccinated. If you're vaccinated and you think people should have a right to choose, then join in on a strike and show them where the power lies. It is not the place of the federal government to make decisions for people's health care. It is not, it's never been the place. Even in the most extreme cases, it's a state, the police power belongs in the states. And even there, that's questionable, very questionable, probably not even that questionable, but not likely to be constitutional to mandate something that's not even a vaccine, a experimental medical treatment for something when there's other alternatives that people could choose to use. They're just as good or better, much better actually. They're not as dangerous, not nearly as dangerous. So there's no legal, moral justification for these mandates. And it's imperative upon all Americans to stand up against it now, or we're going to slide deeper into a tyranny that would only be recognized to people who've read Brave New World, you know, these dystopian novels of hellish consequences of idealistic people trying to impose their will on everybody else. So that's what we want to avoid, and that's what's possible if we start to take our power back, which is what I'm hoping we can do November 8th through 11th. And I'm asking everybody who sees this video to participate in this strike, this nationwide strike. Do not, if you're working in these jobs, if you're a teacher, just walk out for those days. Show them where the power resides. Everybody, just take care, just make a stand. We all have to pay a price if we're going to get our freedom back. There's this quote from one of the founding fathers, I believe it was Jefferson, that we have no rights that we are not willing to fight and die for. So if we're not willing to fight and die for something, then that's just, it's something that is just, it's just words on a paper. The Constitution is just words on a paper. It doesn't mean a thing unless you're ready to fight. Okay, so this is a time to fight. And more people are getting this. I have a friend of mine who finally, it's come home to roost with him. He has a company that has a government contract, so he's being told now that his employees and himself have to show proof of vaccination by a certain date, by December or something, and he doesn't want to do that, so he's holding off because he thinks there's some court cases that might rule favorably. But whether they rule favorably or not, there is no reason to comply. Courts can make very stupid decisions. They have, throughout history, made very bad decisions that were not lawful. So ultimately, it comes down to the people to know deep in their heart what is the truth, what is correct, and to do what's necessary and what's correct. It comes down to us. And this is going to be a time for the next months and years that's going to take tremendous courage and discernment. discernment about truth. What is the truth? What's more likely to be the truth? And courage. And the first thing I can tell people to do who are watching this is, if you want to know the truth, don't watch anything in the media, the mainstream media. Any source of information that has sponsors that control the information, especially drug companies, are not going to be a reliable source of information. They're not objective. They're tainted. And government health agencies are also captured by the industry, so they're the least reliable. Paradoxically, they should be the most reliable, but they're not. They're the least reliable because they have conflicts of interest. So objective people that don't have anything to gain from their information, they're just putting out truth as they've discovered it, are the sources. So be discerning for your sources, and once you come to your conclusion, we're going to need courage to stand up against this, because it is a bulldozer coming down on humanity. And the tide is turning, I think, because of the overreach of governments. Many governments, now the American government has overreached so far that people are up in arms and the resistance is growing. And as the resistance grows, the government will double down on their efforts, and they're going to reveal more and more of their non-benevolent intent. And as people see that the government is not their mommy and daddy that cares about them, but is more like a predator, at least the forces behind the government, there's something to be afraid of, but it's not a virus. That's for sure. So once you get clear about who is the threat and what is the threat, then we can join, and we have a chance to reestablish or to establish a sane system, sane government, sane society again. Because right now it is insane. Little children walking around with masks on, people getting these experimental shots to keep their jobs, our borders just wide open, letting in people who are, who are not Americans into this country without going through a legal process, leaving behind Americans behind, in Afghanistan to die, subsidizing the most egregious, most corrupt businesses on the planet with taxpayer dollars. Everything is backwards and upside down. There's not one single thing being done at the national level, I would say, that makes any sense at all, even to a person who voted for the people that are in power now. There's no logic to it. And many of these people are coming to the same conclusion I came to a long time ago, that this is not what I signed up for. Good. Waking up is the first step. Seeing what's so is the first step. And then building a new system, building a new structure, building new institutions. So, October 31st, Halloween, that's my message of some sadness and also some hope. And the hope is, as things get worse, more people will wake up. It's just inevitable. People that they want to live, they want to be happy. We all have the same desires. We want to have our kids safe. Once you realize your kids are not safe by following CDC guidelines, your kids are safe by you using your common sense and protecting them from the real dangers. You got to realize who is the correct entity to protect children. It is the parents. It is not the government. If the government is captured by industries that profit from harming your children, then you can't trust those sources. You are the source to protect your children. You must understand what's going on. You must understand what is a virus. How does your body work? What's the source of illness? Is it viruses that float around in the air, or is it the terrain? Is it the nutritional status, the toxic load, the stress, the trauma, the lack of connection? Is that the thing that causes people, children and adults, to get ill? If that's the case, then you have no reason to listen to health agencies. They don't know what they're talking about. They're just mouthpieces for big pharma selling drugs and so-called vaccines. So, time to wake up, fellow Americans and fellow humans all around the world. The game is afoot. And November 8th through 11th is going to be a big series of a few days. Let's see if we can show where the power resides with us, the people. God bless everybody out there. And let's do it. This is Jim Jordan with Create Vibrant Health, wishing you a great day.